Pain is a weird, weird thing. It feels like punishment in the moment, but if you survive it, if you lean into it, you realize that it wasn't punishment at all. It was just preparation for a higher purpose. Today's episode isn't about complaining. It's about the pain that built the man that I am becoming. And honestly, I hated that pain. I'm not going to sit here and act like I enjoyed it, and that's not what this episode is about. But I know now that that pain had a purpose. So we're going to talk about pain alongside purpose today in this episode. And if you guys stay tuned to the end, I will leave you with an impactful question that you can take home to ask yourself. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are watching or listening from. Welcome to another episode of Better Men Daily. Real quick, if you guys are enjoying this content and you're on YouTube, please go ahead, drop a like on this video. And if you are on YouTube as well, please go ahead and subscribe if you feel like you're getting a lot out of this content. It'll help grow this community. If you guys are listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Today we are going to talk about pain. Pain sucks. No one likes pain, but we are going to talk about it today, and we're going to talk about how it has helped me forge my purpose in life. And if you guys stay tuned until the end, I am going to give you a take-home question to ask yourself and look at and reflect on in your own life. So we're going to start with talking about my pain and what it has done in my life and how I've gotten through it. I've had a lot of mental or emotional heaviness that I couldn't explain at times, or apathy and frustration. And even when life looked fine, I was still somehow dealing with struggles internally. And silence was there where there should have been connection. And that was my big issue. I had anger that showed up at every dumb little moment, and there was a war in my life between gratitude and exhaustion of everything that was going on. And it was hard for me to admit this. I was doing everything that I thought was right. I was working. I was providing. I thought that I was being the best man of God that I could be. But there was still something off inside. And instead of dealing with it, I buried it. And I told myself, like I've told myself my entire life, that if I just push through everything bad that happens to me, that I'll just make it disappear and it'll go away and then I'll be fine. But the truth is that I wasn't healing. I was hiding in the hustle, if you will, and the pain wasn't going away. Now, like I say, I know a lot of you guys that are watching probably aren't Christian, but I am. And God has a funny way, if you let him, of shining a light on whatever your pain is and showing the purpose that was behind it. There's been a lot of moments in my life where I looked at everything I was going through, and it wasn't until I got to the finish line or until after that he shined that light. And I was like, well, that pain was never meant to stop me. It was meant to shape me. And I understand that now, but I never seemed to understand it until the end. You know, the pain that I was exposed to, I was ignoring. And instead of acknowledging it as something that God was giving me to grow my steadfastness of my faith and to grow me as a man, to be strong so I'm not as phased the next time something like this or worse happens, I was choosing to just say, well, everything bad happens to me and I'm just going to suffer through it, and it is what it is. You see, what I'm trying to get at here, guys, is that pushing through the pain just for the sake of pushing through it is not making the most of that pain. Everything that is put into our life, whether it's good or bad, we should be using for a purpose. Everything that God gives us is a tool, and that's both good and bad. And that's why it says in the word that he takes the evil things and uses them for good, because sometimes Satan will try to use something in this world to pin you against God and to make you lose faith. But you got to look at it as a tool that God is giving you to forge your faith even harder. So this episode isn't really about how to get through hard things and just survive, because that's not what we want to do. We don't want to survive. We want to thrive. It's about getting through those things and additionally taking the lessons needed from them and using it as a hammer and chisel to carve out a life that you want for yourself, and utilize it as an exercise mentally of sorts to help you with your perseverance and with your endurance in getting through things like this. And the hard part about all this for me at first was that when I started going through real trials as an adult man who was married with bills and a life to live, it really started revealing how I truly handle pressure. I always thought I was someone who was okay under pressure, and in some brief, quick moments where I don't have to think much about it, I am. But when I have to stew in it, I realize I struggled heavily. And this is really what pushed me towards just being a better man in general. That pushed me towards therapy and fitness and faith, not as projects, but as lifelines of I need to be as high performing as a man in my life as I possibly can be if I want to set the right example for my son and I want to provide for my family. God didn't let the pain show up in my life because he was angry at me. He actually let it stay because he knew it would lead me somewhere that I wouldn't go otherwise. And that's what I meant about God takes things that Satan means for evil and uses it for his good and great purpose. It's funny too, because when you start looking at pain like this, you start to notice that we only grow when things get uncomfortable. No one grows from sitting on the couch. A flower doesn't grow without getting hit by direct sunlight. You don't grow muscles in the gym by just showing up and standing there. You got to actually put the work in and go through something that is not comfortable. And I'm framing things this way because it's important for us to realize that God doesn't always cause the pain, but he always uses it. And if you let him, he'll take that ache, that anxiety, and that frustration and turn it into fuel for you. Romans 5 says that suffering produces endurance, endurance produces character, and character produces hope. So when I was going through these things, I was praying God would change everything around me, but what he wanted was to change something inside of me in spite of what was going on around me. And once I started looking at it like that, I started being able to use it for fuel. So if you're hurting right now, and it's something that you're going through that is unspeakable and something that you've never done in your life and you're afraid and you're stressed. Maybe it's not because you're broken. Maybe it's because God's about to build something stronger in you. And maybe the healing is hiding inside of that hurting. Obviously, I'm not someone who's going to run around asking for pain. I don't enjoy pain, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone either. But I'm grateful that it has built something better inside of me going through it. And this platform isn't about having it all together, like I say all the time. This is the field notes. This is happening in real time and me trying to become a better man myself. And it's becoming something of therapy for myself of sorts too, not just for you guys to see my findings, but one wound, one lesson, and one breakthrough at a time. I'm just laying it all out on the table and seeing how God's using things in my own personal life to grow me as a better man. And hopefully you guys can use that too. So I want to ask you guys as one key question to take home with you before we go. Are you guys facing your pain and facing your trials with perseverance and strength and preparation? Or are you running with them so that they tail you and follow you? So if you guys are going through something, you need some extra prayer or support from some other men in this community, please go ahead and comment below. Tell me what you're going through, and we will be sure to pray for you and support you and give you guidance in any way that we can. And if you guys are on YouTube and you guys enjoyed this video, please go ahead and drop a like. And if you guys feel called to, please also subscribe to this channel. It helps grow this community so that we can get this content out to more men who may need it. And if you guys are listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it as always, and we will see you on the next episode. Take care.